Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The number of people killed in the Hawaii wildfires has risen to at least 55, with hundreds more said to be missing on the island of Maui. Drone video shows much of Lahaina turned into smouldering ruins. Tourists here were forced to jump into the sea and tread water for hours. Tens of thousands of visitors have been evacuated, while 11,000 people remain without power on the western side of the island.
Oh my God.
Footage recorded off the coast of Maui showing the aftermath of the fires. And here, passengers on a plane landing in Hawaii witnessing the devastation from the air.
What we saw was likely the largest natural disaster in Hawaii state history. We are seeing loss of life here. As you know, the number has been rising, and we will continue to see loss of life. We also have seen many hundreds of homes destroyed, and that's going to take a great deal of time to recover from. But that's why we come together. But we talked to an old gentleman who hadn't seen anything like this ever in his life, a wildfire that took a whole city. His neighbors have all lost their homes. His home was intact, but he was in tears. This is a gentleman that doesn't cry easily.
During an event in Salt Lake City, President Biden said he had issued a major disaster declaration which releases funds for recovery.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately. And I've directed that we surge support to these brave firefighters and first responders and emergency personnel working around the clock there, risking their lives. I just got off the phone before I got here for a long conversation with Governor Josh Green this morning, and let him know I'm going to make sure the state has everything it needs from the federal government to recover. The FEMA Administrator Griswold will be in Maui tomorrow, and I've directed her to streamline any process with requests for help, and survivors registered for immediate federal assistance without delay.
Kenya's cult leader, Paul Mackenzie, has been handed the longest pre-charge court-approved detention in the country's history, following an extension of his stay in prison. The court allowed the state to detain him and his suspected accomplices for 47 more days. Delivering his ruling at a court at the coastal Mombasa city, the judge explained that the drastic decision was necessitated by the complex and unique nature of the case. Mr. Mackenzie has been in detention on suspicion of leading a starvation cult that killed 427 of his church members. Russia has launched its first mission to the surface of the moon in nearly half a century, in a bid to be the first country to land on the lunar South Pole. Moscow's Luna 25 mission lifted off on schedule from a cosmodrome in the Russian Far East. The moon's south pole is believed to hold deposits of water. The Russian mission is racing against India, which sent up its own lander last month that is already orbiting the moon. An unusual weather phenomenon has been spotted in South Dakota, a tornado and a rainbow side by side. The National Weather Service reported several tornadoes, but only one with a rainbow. An eyewitness captured the sight after thunderstorms moved through the area. And finally, hundreds of hot air balloons have taken to the skies above the English city of Bristol for its annual ballooning event. The 4-day Bristol International Balloon Fiesta, which has grown into Europe's largest free hot air balloon festival, sees balloonists from all over the country and abroad take part. Hundreds of fans flock to the city in England's southwest every year to see the balloons ascend. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.